Dawn, 1250 BC. You wake up in a stone room in Mycenae. Small room, stone walls, wool blankets that smell like smoke. There's a jug of olive oil on the shelf. You reach for it, pour some into your palm, and rub it into your arms and neck. Everyone does this. Soap won't exist for centuries. You're a warrior, one of the king's companions, in the most powerful fortress in the Greek world. You pull on a linen tunic, lace your sandals, and step outside. The city hits you. Mycenae sits on a rocky hill between two peaks, and from up here you can see the entire Argolid plain, golden, flat, stretching to the sea. The walls beneath your feet are limestone boulders, some of them 20 tons, stacked without mortar, 8 meters thick. Your great-grandfathers built them. You just live here. Breakfast, a stone courtyard. You sit with 2 other companions, barley bread hard and flat, olives, a lump of goat cheese. One of the men, you've trained with him since you were 14, complains about the bread. He always complains about the bread. Nobody eats a big breakfast here, except him. You finish and head for the training yard. You pass a granary on the way. The palace tracks every jar of grain. 30,000 people depend on what's inside those walls. The training yard, packed dirt near the western wall, the crack of bronze on wood, dust in the sun. The spear comes first, shorter than the old pikes, light enough to use one-handed with a shield. You thrust at a wooden post, recover. Thrust again, 100 times, 200. Your shoulder burns. You keep going. You've got old fractures on the sword arm that ache in the cold. Every man on this yard does. This is what it costs. Then the sword. The old style was a rapier, a meter long, thin as a needle, only good for stabbing, useless if it bends. But a new type has shown up from the north, the Naue II. Shorter, heavier, double-edged. It can cut and thrust. You pair it with a dagger in the offhand. One blade parries, the other kills. A young recruit watches you spar. He flinches every time the blades connect. He'll learn, or he won't. Either way, the yard doesn't care. The storeroom, dim, torchlight. A veteran named Damoko pulls a suit from the rack. You stand still while he works. 15 separate pieces of beaten bronze, backed with leather, fastened with oxhide thongs. It covers you neck to knees, 18 kilograms. You've worn heavier. It moves with you, not against you. You can fight in this all day, and you have. You step into the sunlight and the bronze catches everything. Rows of curved boar tusks, split and polished, sewn onto a leather cap. Yours took the tusks of over 40 boars. Your father hunted most of them. You finished the rest. Every man in the yard knows what that helmet cost. That's the point. You walk to the rampart and pull the helmet off. The plain stretches out below you, and something has shifted. The trade ships that used to come every month from Cyprus, copper, tin, ivory, they come every second month now, sometimes every third. The harvests have been thin 2 years running, and last week the palace started posting watchers on the coast. Nobody told you why, but you've been a soldier long enough to know what watchers mean. Smoke on the horizon. You turn and walk toward the Lion Gate. Midday. You take your post, main entrance to the citadel, 3 meters wide, 3 meters tall. Above you, 2 carved lionesses flank a stone column. Below you, the approach, a long ramp along the northwest wall, flanked by a bastion, 15 meters long, 7 wide. Anyone coming up that ramp exposes their unshielded right side to you and every man on the wall above. The ramp narrows into a courtyard, a kill zone. Hooves on stone, voices, a merchant caravan, donkeys loaded with copper ingots shaped like ox hides, each one weighing about 25 kilograms. Ivory, amphorae of spices. You can smell the coriander and cumin before the donkeys reach the gate. A scribe stands at the gate, young, serious. He presses a reed stylus into a damp clay tablet. Neat rows of symbols you can't read. Almost nobody can. That's the scribe's job. The scribe glances up at you. You nod. He doesn't nod back. Scribes. Afternoon. You walk the lower town. Beyond the citadel walls, past the outer fortification, 5 meters thick, its own gates and towers. This is where most people actually live. You can hear the forge before you see it, the ring of metal on metals. A man named Kuruo works the bronze. He's turning raw copper and tin into spearheads, and completely dependent on 2 metals that come from across the sea. If the ships stop, the bronze stops. If the bronze stops, you are holding a stick. You pass the great Tholos tomb cut into the hillside. You step into the stone passageway. The walls close in above you. The lintel stone above the entrance is 9 meters of solid rock, 120 ton. Inside, a corbelled dome rises into darkness. The old kings are buried in there with gold masks and bronze daggers inlaid with lions. You've never gone in, but you know what it means. Power, the kind that's supposed to last forever. You turn back toward the light. Late afternoon, the companions gather near the megaron. A raid has been ordered. Coastal villages to the south reported fires last night. Ships nobody recognizes. A goat is led to the altar. The blade is quick, the sound of fat hitting flame. Bones crack in the heat. The smoke rises, the meat goes to you. Every offering follows the same order: meat, wine, cheese, honey. The palace records everyone. Nothing is wasted, nothing is forgotten. You pour wine onto the flames, you speak the names: Poseidon, Earthshaker, Ares, War. You ask for a strong arm and a safe return. Every god you know gets fed today. That's the deal. You give them smoke and wine. They give you victory. Or at least that's how it's supposed to work. The companions check equipment: chariot wheels on racks, armor suits sorted by type and condition. A man called Wanato argues with the quartermaster about a cracked axle. The quartermaster shrugs. There are no spare axles. There used to be spare axles. The companions exchange a look. Nobody says anything, but you all notice. Evening. The megaron. The throne room. You step between the columns and the heat finds you immediately. A circular hearth, 3.5 meters across, blazes at the center. 4 wooden columns rise around it. Smoke drifts through an opening in the roof. Late sunlight pours down through it and meets the firelight coming up. Frescoes on every wall. Griffins, bulls, women in elaborate dresses, warriors in chariots. The Wanax, the king, sits on a painted wooden throne against the right wall. You sit on a stool. You don't sit on the throne. Nobody sits on the throne. You know a man who made a joke about the throne once. You don't see him anymore. Wine mixed with water in large painted bowls. Craters, big enough to hold a child. The same kind of vessel a potter will paint with soldiers marching to war someday. You drink from one now. The wine is strong tonight. Food, roasted goat from the sacrifice. Bread, cheese, olives, figs dipped in honey. You eat well. The palace makes sure of it. You burn about 4,500 calories a day. Training, patrol, armor drills. You burn through food the way a furnace burns through wood. The palace feeds you because you are the palace's edge. A man with a lyre takes his place near the hearth. The room quiets. He tells a story you've heard 100 times. A great war fought at a city called Troy. Heroes, ships, a stolen queen. Some of your grandfathers may have fought there. The story is centuries old, but it changes every time. Tonight the hero dies well. The room is warm. The wine is strong. You belong to something. You can feel it in this room. The walls, the fire, the men around you, the palace that feeds and arms and counts you. What could go wrong? Night. You take the watch, the rampart. You pick up a spear from the rack and plant yourself against the wall. A torch burns beside you. The lower town goes quiet below. Lights glow in windows. Dogs bark somewhere you can't see. Fires on the horizon. Could be shepherds. Could be something else. You've heard that the palace at Pylos, 2 days march west, has posted 800 men along the coast. 600 rowers ready to launch. Your fellow companions stationed at every post. You don't mobilize like that because things are fine. The drought, you've noticed it. Everyone has. The wells are lower than last year. The grain stores aren't what they were. The palace feeds everyone. Warriors, scribes, craftsmen, priests. But the palace depends on rain, and the rain hasn't come. And the ships with the tin and the copper come less and less. And there are rumors. Something from the east, something about kingdoms falling. Nobody has details. That's the worst part. No details, just less. Beneath your feet, the engineers have just finished something new. A secret underground passage leading to a cistern fed by a spring outside the walls. Siege preparation. You don't build that if you think things are fine. The torch burns low. The stars turn. But these walls have held for 300 years. The granaries still hold. The gods have eaten, and your spear is sharp. You tighten your grip on the spear. You're still here. What happened next to Mycenae, and why every Bronze Age civilization collapsed at the same time? That's coming soon.